That's a lot better.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. 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 I'm Hayu Prabowo. I'm with Ulama Council of Indonesia. So I'm here representing the 6 religious organization over here that comprises of Islam. Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world. We have about 200 million of Muslim over here, and we have also the Protestant, Catholic, Hindu, Buddha, and Confucius. So we also over here we have a representation from Hindus and Buddhists over here, and Christian, and also Christian, yeah. And so yeah, we this morning we this afternoon we hear from IAT that they have a program so called the Faith for Earth. We are here have the program we call Faith for Forest. So in this case that the forest is actually intended for the climate change, because we understand that the climate change, the forest is actually the most efficient way and proven way to combat the climate change. So that's why the end is we protect the forest is for the climate change, and we work together not only with the religious organization but also with the indigenous people, with the NGOs, and as well as with the university. So that's why the Dr. Farudin worked with us together on this issue. The primary reason is that the world is currently 70% of the tropical forest in the world is in the 3 areas, which is Amazon, Congo, and Indonesia. And this comprises for 5 countries: Colombia, Brazil, Venezuela, and Congo and Indonesia. So we represent Indonesia over here to protect the rainforest. And during the on the end of January, we have launched what we call the Interfaith Rainforest Initiative. That we invited about 200 religious leaders across Indonesia, and as well as with the United Nations of Environmental Program, with the government of Norway, and Religions for Peace. So we together work together there for 2 days, and we launched this Interfaith Rainforest Initiative supported by everybody, as well as supported by government. So government also supported our efforts to protect this forest in Indonesia. And by the end of the occasion, we all declared the Interfaith Rainforest Initiative among the 8 religious organizations here in Indonesia. And also, we also launched the educational material in our web. You can check in our web, which is interfaithrainforest.org or interfaithrainforest.id, which is for Indonesia, because it is to intermediate English and English spoken countries and Indonesian spoken countries. So we have written 4 books, which is the Indonesian primer on deforestation for religious leaders and faith communities, and also the tropical forest resource under threat, tropical forest and climate change, as well as the indigenous peoples. So using this education material, we educate all of these religious leaders to be aware the importance of the tropical forest and the importance for climate change to protect not only the people, the indigenous people, but also all of the people around the world. So it is very critical. And the next item, actually there are three objectives over here, that we understand that the climate change and deforestation is because of the moral issue. The moral issue is that we actually have the moral obligation not only with the people around the world, but also with our next generation of people. So we cannot have the proper prosperity today, and we sacrifice the our prosperity into uh, sacrificing our next generation. So by understanding this, we try kind of we summarize into three strategy. First one is synthesizing textual of religious teaching and contextual aspect of the real world problem. So we currently plan to write kind of the educational material or education material for faith uh, teaching into contextual side primarily for the um, forest issue and the climate change. So that's the first one. And the second one is that we would like to inspiring, empowering faith-based organizations and religious leaders to advocate for environmental protection. This advocacy not only to the government but also to the business people. So there are advocacy that we currently devising to do this work. And thirdly, because of this movement needs funds, then we would like to mobilize of investment and assets of faith-based organization and for conservation. Because we understand that faith-based organization normally has big assets. So we have schools, we have hospitals, we have the land, we have the the money. So we would like to mobilize this investment into to support this program. So at the end, we would like to mobilize people for from all religious teaching for this conservation. And our approach is three prongs, which is the education, conservation, and local people empowerment. So we hope that with this strategy, not only education and conservation, but local people empowerment is very important because by empowering the people at the local level, then these people will guard the forest more effectively. I think that's all from my side, and we currently also form what we call the Advisory Council of Indonesia, and we also form organization what we call the Facilitator of Indonesia. So we will work together with these 5 countries, hand by hand, along with the UNEP as the coordinator for this movement. So yeah, hopefully that it can. Yeah, thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for that initiative and for all the work that's going into it. Mobilizing and connecting various actors that have sometimes not worked closely together before, I know is a large challenge and oftentimes time-consuming. And yet, as we heard both from Dr. Yad and Dr. Asakaram, you know, there's an unprecedented need for it. So thank you very much for doing that important work on the national and regional arena. That's amazing and inspiring. What I would like to do now actually is to give us a few moments of reflection again together in small groups. You can in the physical rooms that we are sitting in right now, maybe 3 people together, something like that. And also, if I can look at Bengt and see if you might be able to again shift into breakout rooms. Is that a possible challenge? Yeah, because I want to give us a few moments, like 3-4 minutes, just to get some smaller group reflections. And what I want to do is, in light of your presentation right now, with this Interfaith Rainforest Initiative, as a very clear and inspiring example of this type of collaboration, this multi-stakeholder and, in this case, faith-based organization collaborations. What I want to see is for everybody in the rooms, respective rooms, to get a chance to reflect. Okay, what are the alliances and the collaborations that I'm currently involved in? And if I don't have any right now that I'm currently pushing, what could I be doing, or what would I want to start building alliances with different organizations, different actors? So we see here Bengt is splitting us into some breakout rooms. How many people do we actually have in total viewing or virtual participants? Oh, 33, fantastic. So we're going to split you also into smaller groups. And since this is a very short reflection session, because what we want to do after that is to come back to the rooms and hear a few kind of summarizing or from the group, what's the status on collaboration, on multi-stakeholder collaboration, and how could we move further? So we'll come back to the room in that sense, and this will be one part of us getting to know each other across the hubs in a closer manner. So I will actually I'll give us 5 minutes because it's slightly more realistic. But still, we'll need to be very brief so that everybody has the chance to say something, and try to, amongst yourselves, be fair in the space that you give each other, both to listen and to speak. So we'll take 5 minutes from now, and we'll then come back together in this larger room. Okay? Thank you. All right. So, everybody in this room, as well as in Jakarta, and also our virtual joiners, we are coming back to our large twinning session room again. And what I would like us to do now, and again, this is in the interest of building new alliances between us. I just want to, let's see, Jakarta, can I get a thumbs up if you hear me and see me? All right, thank you, Bengt. Now I'm unmuted. Yes, it seems like we have connection now with Jakarta, and we have connection with our virtual participants. Fantastic. So what I want to do now is to give the floor to a few of us or a few of you in the respective in the respective conversations. So I would first like to get 2 voices from the Jakarta hub that just started sharing a screen with us. Or what's being shared currently? All right. Who's sharing what? Oh, Samuel. Samuel, you're sharing your screen. Thank you for for inviting us into your Facebook Live. Could we somehow maybe get the screen back? Stop sharing screen if you go to your Zoom window. If you go to your Zoom window and stop sharing, yes, that stop share. Stop share. Oh, you had it there. So close. Yeah, stop sharing. Perfect. Thank you. Fantastic. Now we tested that as well. Thank you. That was fun. All kinds of unexpected fun you get as a facilitator of these things. So, all right. So let's get back to trying to share not our screens, but some reflections. And I would like to start with Jakarta. Two people, I would like to hear two different voices. Just some of these examples that you brought up. I think that you might be currently muted, but we'll sort that out. So just two different voices from the small conversations. Reflections about the coalitions and initiatives that are currently happening, and something you would like to strive for improving. Mute.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we have sound now, so that's good.
Hello.
Hi, Rudy. Everybody,
Hi.
this is Dr. Fahruddin, who's our co-creator and co-organizer and host in the Jakarta hub. There you go. He's coming towards the center now.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Ola. Thank you for everybody who is attending for this conference. This is very genius idea that we come here together in virtual way, and we are very happy to conduct this conference. And we just have a reflection about the previous presentation regarding the challenge, how we appreciate all the faith groups get together and get their own capacity to improve their knowledge between how to contextualize the values of or the faith values and to the current situation. That is why, as Hayu said, that it is important to improve education, education book of education by involving the elders and religious leaders to get together in a room to create like a teaching, a book or a guidebook for their follower or for the faith group. That's what's the first issue that we are going to implement in this IRI movement.
Thank you.
So last time was the declaration, and the second step is how we build the capacity of the connecting or the faith group or faith leader with the science of environment.
Yeah.
And so the science and the scientists coming sitting together with the religious group to create best practice and knowledge, how then we interconnected our textual to see the contextual relevance to the grassroots challenge and action. That's mine.
Thank you so much for that reflection. And I imagine that as we have heard before, both in the panel and from some of our contributing speakers, that sometimes in some instances we're very faith communities and faith-based actors are very used to talking about the relationship between humans and nature and the environment. And perhaps in some instances, we need to really put that on the forefront. And as you said, to produce new educational materials and also to join faith perspectives in being on the same page in that regard. So I think that's a great initiative that you bring up as something that's really happening actually in Indonesia. And I'm sure with your active involvement in the Faith for Earth initiative as well that Iyad chairing or heading up. I'm sure that this will be a possibility for a lot of spread and good practice sharing across interfaith initiatives. So thank you for sharing that. I want to go to our virtual participants, and this will be an interesting dynamic. We would like to get one voice to begin with. Somebody who feels that, what my speaking partner or someone in my group shared was really an interesting initiative. So just a brief reflection from one conversation. Is that possible, you think? Somebody volunteer? I know there's someone out there wanting to share something interesting that they talked with their partner about. We'll come to this room as well. Everybody's unmuted. What can happen? So, can we get someone to step up and share? I know we can. And I'm a very patient person as well, so I'm in no rush really. But I'd really appreciate if someone took the lead here and just you can just say half a minute, kind of 1-point response. It's okay.
Say something.
Yes. All right. All right. We can unmute.
Me?
That's you. Yes.
Yeah, hi. Hi, everybody. I've been hiding with my video off. I haven't actually spoken to anybody. I'm here on my own in the UK, and you might not know me, but I'm the director of a new body called IMCR, which is the International Network for Conservation and Religion. But I just wanted to pick up on the point that Fakhruddin just made about guides and knowledge and sharing, because I know that there are these plans within the Interreligious Forest Initiative, and that's really important. But I just wanted to take the opportunity to let you know that we are looking at, gosh, what's going on here?
Yeah, Bengt, can you just,
that we are actively putting together a digital web-based platform for knowledge sharing on these specific issues. So there will be guides for all sorts of different religions and all sorts of different conservation, biodiversity, habitat, climate, etc. It's a work in progress, but get in touch.
Do you already have a link that you can share, or is it all in progress?
It's all in progress. It is intended to be launched at the IUCN Congress in June, should that actually happen. But that's the time frame we're looking at. I can share some information about it.
If you post in the chat, any link that we can sort of keep up to date with, that would be very useful. And we will also take that, Andrew from our end will take that into the sharing that we can do on the platform, Padlet platform, etc. Thank you so much. So now I want to shift over to this room here in Härnösand, and to ask some brave or good listening person, or a combination of the two, to just share a reflection on some conversation that has been had in this room as well. And I have a hand mic for that, and we have various cameras to work with. Yeah, so just one person who wants to share something interesting that was shared in your group. Yep. And you can choose to, if you want, you can speak to the television behind you there, and stand up if you may. And
you're making it difficult.
Yes, so many things at the same time.
Multitasking. So, hi everybody out there. My name is Margareta. I come from ACT Church of Sweden. I found it really nice to be in the little group I was with, because I think there is so many good things done. but we don't know about each other. So you know, this 1 + 1 becomes 3 effect is still something that we can really multiply. Oh, sorry, I'm looking in the wrong direction. So I still think there is a need for mapping. You know, because sometimes we also think and we base our knowledge about each other based on assumption. That the religious there and the secular there and the UN here. But instead, if we start to talk what we are actually doing on the ground and see the benefit of collaborative actions, I really think that we can get things done. But then we also need to map what is done on the ground and who do we collaborate with. Yeah, that was one of my things, because it's a win-win. I already found a very good partner here. Yeah, good.
Is that you, Anna? Okay, fantastic. All right, so that's a very good point. I would like to, I want to, further this sort of anarchistic experimental approach and to see, is there anybody out there, and Anna, you can be sort of lined up, but not jump the gun, but you can be lined up. So is there anybody out there who has, like within it could be faith community, indigenous community, or cross-silo collaborations, that type of mapping project that you would want to raise as a good practice example? Is any one of the participants want to sort of give their example on that, just briefly? And if not, would you like to say something about that, or you could?
Yeah. So my name is Anna Emelin, and I'm very much an overview person. I want to map things, but at the same time, I think mapping sometimes can be a waste of time. I've been communicator at Stockholm Resilience Center, which is a little bit like sitting in a harbor. There's 100 researchers under the same roof, and this research is coming from all over the world. So I think maybe we need to think twice before we say mapping. I think we need to know there are people that sit in those harbors and know who can connect who, because I think we need to work with attraction. We all say that, I think we've heard over and over today that corporations fail and agreements fail. I think we need to recognize that when you are in transformation and doing something creatively, you have to have an enormous amount of trust, and it's real relations. And you have to, I think personally that you have to trust if there is an attraction, you have something together, you're supposed to work together and just go for it. Don't wait for the mapping. And then there are certain people that know, like, okay, the two of you have something together. I mean, we have some incredible networkers in this room that throw people together. So maybe trust us as an organism rather than spend time on mapping.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds like a systems approach to this, and also perhaps to what you're doing in Indonesia, I think, would be an example as well of that. You're acting as you go along, and you are doing as you go along, and that way that will attract, that will get traction from other actors who will jump on board. They'll bring different perspectives, and the ball will roll like that. That's what I think will be interesting, and you might want to look back at our November course in on the nexus of human rights and environment, where we did spend quite some time to talk about systems analysis and systems approach, system thinking approach, and really starting to, as a part of transformation, to take that type of approach in the work ahead. Okay, so, all right. So I want to thank all participants in our twinning session for this, rather brief, but yet first go at our twinning. We will continue to deepen our relationship over these 3 days, and we will be following the same, logging into the same Zoom link over the 3 days, and we will continue to share. And before we split up and go to have lunch, we will have some information sharing from Josephine.
Yes, but that will only be for the, well, actually part of it is relevant for Jakarta Learning Hub. We have got some feedback that you can sometimes hear a mic that is not muted for those of you who are logged in to the Zoom meeting as individuals. And we have a moderator for the Zoom meetings, Andrew, so anytime you hear a voice that's not supposed to be there or anything, write it on the Zoom chat to Andrew, and then he can deal with it immediately. So anything that is disturbing the Zoom meeting, let us know, notify us by using the chat function in Zoom. That was all for Jakarta. I have some few things additionally for Hanusand.
So before we then go over to the Hanusand specific, I would just like to really extend our gratitude to all the Jakarta participants, those of you who made it to the university today, and those of you who still, despite challenges and obstacles, joined us from your homes or other offices. So thank you so much for joining with us today, and we will see you back again tomorrow. We wish you a great evening.
Good evening. And then we can end from here the Zoom meeting, and we'll continue to give some info to you here in Hanusand. We will go for lunch now in about 1 minute, and we will serve the lunch not here at the library, but in a restaurant called Logen, which takes about 3 to 5 minutes to walk down to. And there are a few people here that knows the restaurant. So for those of you who are new in town in Hanusand or have never been to Logen before, just
grab someone who knows.
Grab someone who knows and make connections. Also, I want to say that a feedback we got when we had our digital pilot in November, I know many of you weren't there, but few of you were, was that we got the info that the lunches were too short. And going back to the guiding principles, rethinking, co-creation and the normative dialogue, we really need time with each other. So therefore, we have scheduled, let me see now, until 1:30 for lunch. So you have actually good time to nurture relationships and deepen our dialogue. So when we all meet back 1:30, it will be in the open space where we started this morning, just outside its door. So we are not going to spend any more time in this room, but we'll be in the open space after lunch. Okay, so have a great lunch. See you back here at 1:30. And anyone who needs guidance to the restaurant, you just grab someone who knows the place. And for any questions, just come to me and Ola. Thank you.